Hi ladies, this is Amanda again. Of course it's Amanda, but this is video number 2, and this time we're going to be talking about mindsets to start becoming aware of. And what I want you to start doing is I want you to start becoming aware of where you where your thoughts are at, where your feelings are at, where your emotions are at, okay? And I want you to start just thinking about your thoughts and thinking about your thinking and thinking about your feelings, okay? And so often as women, we judge ourselves for our thoughts. We judge ourselves for our feelings. I hear it all the time about women say like, "Oh, I'm just emotional. It's the hormones." What if we flip that script instead of saying, "Oh, it's just it's just hormones. I'm just emotional." And really started diving deep into what those emotions are actually trying to teach us, because they are powerful. We are made with emotions, and instead of judging them as being bad, so many people judge their emotions as being bad, as being sinful, as being like emotional or silly, as being weak. That needs to stop, because we were given emotions for a reason, and they are powerful and they are good. I'm going that far as to say they are good. They are part of who we are. And instead of judging them, what if we could befriend them? What if we could start learning from them? What if we could start accepting our feelings and our thoughts and start learning from them? I believe our emotions are like guideposts and signs and warning signs of where we are missing the mark in living a life of love and living a life of self-acceptance and living a life of power and strength. Okay? And so I really encourage you to start letting go of that judgment part and really start just living in curiosity, like, what can I learn about myself with this feeling? How can I learn to love more? What is this trying to show me? What is this trying to show me about who I am? What is this trying to show me about where I need to accept more love? What is this trying to show me about how I can forgive myself more? Or what is this trying to show me about past pain and past trauma that needs to be processed? What can this show me about who I'm made to be? So really start taking away the judgment and start getting curious. Really start taking away that like, this is another thing that drives me crazy. We stuff our emotions. We think they're bad, so we don't let ourselves feel them, or we don't let ourselves experience that stuff. And so we stuff down our pain, we stuff down our emotions, and then it starts boiling up into resentment, or it starts boiling up into anger, or it starts boiling up into other things like anxiety, or maybe it has more, like, maybe for you it has more physical symptoms like IBS and stomach issues. Maybe it's like neck tension and headaches and migraines. Like, you guys, we're interconnected. It's not just like, here's my body, here's my mind, or like, here's my body, here's my whatever you believe, like your soul or whatever. We are interconnected, and the thoughts that we think actually change the structure in our brains. Okay, so the thoughts that you think actually change your body, and we actually carry tension in different parts of our body depending on how we're dealing with stress, and that affects the different systems in our bodies. Okay, so I want you to really start becoming aware. Start becoming aware of your thoughts, of your emotions, and your feelings in your body without judgment. So what I want you to do is become aware. Oh, it's kind of big. become aware. Then I want you, instead of judging or pushing yourself, pushing your emotions down, I want you to imagine putting it into a glass box or into a plastic Ziploc bag, your emotions and your feelings and your thoughts, whatever you're judging yourself for, those mindset things, putting it into a plastic bag and separating yourself for a little bit, and then just look at it. Take the emotion, like take the judgment out of it and just look at it and be like, what can I learn about myself here? Where do I need to show myself more love? Where do I need to forgive myself? Where do I need to start processing some emotions or some pain, or maybe I need to grieve something here? Okay, so I really want you guys to become aware, separate yourself a little bit, and then ask yourself good questions. Get curious, okay? So these are the things I want you to start watching for. Number one, overwhelm. Overwhelm is usually a sign that you have needs that aren't being met. Usually is a sign that you aren't getting enough rest. So be really honest about that, okay? I want you to start looking for patterns. When do you feel overwhelmed? What do you do when you feel overwhelmed? How do you judge yourself? How can you change those patterns, okay? We're going to be diving more into this, but I just want you guys to start becoming aware of them, okay? Guilt. Guilt is usually a sign that you think you have done something wrong. And we're going to be talking more about this, but women are raised in our society to do two things: please people by how we look, and please people by what we do. So usually, if we don't think we look good enough, we feel guilty, or if we don't think we're doing the right things to make people happy, we feel guilty. And that's like impossible. Pleasing people is impossible. So if you're feeling guilty, it's usually one of those two things. And guilt is something that I've lived with for my whole life. And it is something that every day I have to decide I'm not going to partner with. And every day I have to separate myself from that anxiety, or from that from that guilt, look at it and say, what is this teaching me about myself? How am I aligning my identity with what other people think of me? How am I trying to earn my worth by how other people's opinions of me, okay? We're gonna be talking more and more about this. This is huge, okay? Anxiety. Anxiety is usually a sign that you are carrying too much. You are carrying the results of everything that you're doing right now, and everything that you got to do later on today, and everything that you got to do next week, and everything that you got to do in the next year or 10 years. You're carrying all of that, plus you're carrying all of the results of that. Okay? You're carrying all of that, and that's not your load to carry. What all you can do is live right now and do the best that you can, and trust in the journey, trust in your process, trust that the Creator has got your back. Okay? Judgment. Another one I want you to start being aware of is judgment. Like I said earlier, judgment, we usually judge ourselves so harshly, and usually where we're judging ourselves is how we judge other people, and how we judge other people is usually how we're judging ourselves. So I want you to just start becoming aware of how you're judging yourself for your feelings or for your actions, and how you're judging other people, because that's showing where you need more love and more self-acceptance and more compassion and more understanding. Bitterness. Bitterness is the same thing. It's usually a sign that you have needs that are not being met, but you're expecting them to be met by somebody else. You have unrealistic expectations that somebody else is going to meet your needs. And shocker here, Other people are not, like, other people are unreliable. They're not going to be able to meet all your needs. And half the time they don't know what your needs are, and half the time you don't know what your needs are. So we need to start really taking ownership of that and start becoming aware of what our needs are, start becoming aware of where we're having unrealistic expectations of other people, and really start taking ownership of looking after ourselves rather than expecting other people. So I'm going to give you an example. Oh, if my husband just helped me here or did this, I would be happy. Hands up if you ever thought that. Oh, if my husband would just, help around the house more or do more with the kids, I would be happier. Yep. Be aware of that and start really being serious about what you are believing and what kind of expectations you are having on other people. Your happiness is not their job. That's way too big of a burden for other people to carry. And in the same way, their happiness is not your burden to carry. So often we do this as moms as well. We run around feeling guilty because somebody else isn't happy. That's not your burden to carry. We're going to be diving more into this, but I just want you to start becoming aware of these things, okay? Jealousy. Jealousy is huge, you guys. Usually jealousy, like I did this for a long time. Like I'd notice that I was feeling jealous and then I'd stuff it down like, oh, you can't be jealous of other people. Being jealous is bad. Well, what if instead of judging yourself right away, you ask yourself, I wonder why I feel jealous. I wonder what part of me wants to grow. I wonder what part of me is feeling neglected. I wonder what part of me really is wanting to shine and to start giving pieces of itself that jealousy is kind of starting to show you. And I want you to start almost befriending your jealousy. I know that seems weird, but when it's in that plastic bag, just be like, hey, thank you. Because jealousy is showing you some of the ways that you want to grow, some of the ways that you want to improve, some of the things that you have maybe secret hidden talents that you didn't know. Okay? I'll give you an example because I always wanted to be always wanted to be a leader. I always wanted to have this. I was always jealous of girls that had a tight knit community and had a group of women that they could really just like support and lifted each other up and that and I used to always stuff that down and be like, oh, why I shouldn't be jealous of them or whatever. But once I befriended that, I realized that I had some leadership qualities and I had some potential to make an impact in other people's lives, and that's what wanted to start showing and started to start shining and start making an impact in the world. Never dim that light, you guys. You have an impact to make here. Another one is entitlement, and this one kind of goes back to the bitterness part, but expecting other people. I did this with my boss. I expected my boss to kind of read my mind and to help me out, even when I wasn't really communicating my needs, or I would blame her because I was so busy, or I blame her because I was such a workaholic, or I blame her because I was having panic attacks. Like it was all her fault because she worked me so hard and she didn't understand and all of this. So it was like I was entitled to being angry with her and entitled to having this bad attitude because I was blaming and not taking ownership of my life and not looking after myself, not loving myself, but trying to earn love, like we talked earlier about earning love, trying to please other people and love other people by how good we were by rather than looking after myself and having it overflow to other people. Another one is self-pity and victim mentality. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm too busy, I just don't have time, or oh, my life is just so crazy right now, or oh, if I just, if my kids were just better behaved, or like whatever is going on in your mind, self-pity, victim mentality, those kind of things where it's somebody else's fault and woe is me, I don't like if that makes sense. My husband makes fun of me when I say woe is me, but like when you're feeling sorry for yourself and like you're a victim of your anxiety, you're a victim of your overwhelm, you're a victim of all of the stress and pressure. This is hard. This was a hard one for me to swallow at the beginning, but I just want you to start becoming aware of it. You don't have to deal with it all right now, but I just want you to start becoming aware of when you're starting to feel self-pity, and because we can kind of get stuck there. We can kind of get stuck in that place where it's like, oh, my life is so hard, everything sucks, nobody else knows how hard it is, blah, 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 nobody gets it, all of that, then that's a really negative place to be in, and you're giving away all your power. You're giving away all of your power, and that is huge, you guys. So victim mentality as well. You have the power, you guys, to change your life right now. I lived a life of complete miserable panic attack, anxiety, completely stressed out. I had too much information probably, but like I had diarrhea and IBS symptoms for years. Like all of that stuff is connected, you guys. And I lived that because I believed that I was a victim to my situation. I was a victim to my emotions. I was a victim to what other people did around me. I was a victim to other people's opinions. I was a victim to the emotions of my husband. I was a victim to all of those things. Once I started taking responsibility for myself, started taking responsibility for my thoughts, started taking responsibility for my emotions, and started creating the life that I wanted to live, starting lining up my thoughts with the thoughts that I wanted to think, things started switching. Okay? So I want you to start just being mindful of overwhelm, guilt, anxiety, judgment, bitterness, jealousy, entitlement, self-pity, and victim mentality. Okay? And remember, the steps is become aware, 2, separate yourself, put it in that Ziploc bag and look at it, and then start asking yourself, getting curious, start asking yourself some good questions. Okay? Love you guys. You're doing amazing work here. This is the first week and this is intense, okay? So I want you to know that I love you and you're doing a good job.